With a promoter called out for fraud and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Talk about the upcoming Wrestle Dream match between Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. Jim Ross said this on his Grilling JR podcast. I think anytime Bryan Danielson's in a feature attraction, it's something to look forward to. So I would say he'll set the bar, he being Bryan Danielson. So he's red hot, man. He's red hot, and his match with Zack Sabre Jr. should be textbook. The whole show is loaded with some really good talent who are looking to turn a head or two, so it's going to be fun in Seattle. He's probably the most valuable player in AEW right now, at least in my opinion. Not that we don't have other MVPs. He's really taken up a huge role, a leadership role, and that's why I'm so blessed to be on Collision. That's Bryan Danielson's show, and it's great because he brings maturity and ideas, esprit de corps. He's very, very important to everything that we do on Saturday night, especially. Bryan is really one of the best. I don't know who's a better worker in the world than Bryan Danielson right now. We're lucky to have him, and I love him to be around. We talk every Saturday. We talked about this or that, or this idea or that idea. Just, it's refreshing. It's a breath of fresh air, to say the least. Speaking about potentially making a return to WWE, Ariane Andrew, formerly known as Cameron, when a part of the Funkadactyls in the company, told Wrestling News, "I feel like when you go out venturing to go create a name for yourself, I get it. When you make yourself valuable and people are talking, then people have more interest. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows, you know? I still feel like there's a lot of unfinished business there." Should also say this about her previous stablemate in WWE, Tyrus, the man formerly known as Brodus Clay in WWE, retiring from pro wrestling after saying he'd beat his children for sharing their pronouns. I feel like that's a touchy conversation just in general, just for things that have been just going around with Tyrus lately. But you know, I feel like I'm not quite sure how old he is, but I know, you know, it's been some time since we were doing the Funkadactyls and the whole Funkasaurus thing. I feel like, you know, there comes a time, especially, don't get me wrong, I feel like in the wrestling community, they stay stuck in like the past. It's like, you know, you can never progress. It's like I even say, I'll be in my grave and I'm like, hey girl, when are you returning to the ring? It's like, well, I'm no longer on this earth anymore. I do think there comes a time where, you know, it's time to hang up the boots. I feel like he's doing really good with what he's doing, been doing Fox and the whole nine, but you know, I always say never, because people who think retire always end up somehow, some form, some fashion, their ass ends up back in the ring, you know, even though they're like, I'm 90, but I am back. It's just, I mean, it always comes back full circle. I mean, history is always repeating itself, so even when people say I'm retired, I'm like, are you really? Addressing his recent losses in WWE, The Miz said this on Fox Sports Radio. "I can lose every match in WWE and it will not matter because I am Teflon. I'm indestructible in WWE. Now, that's my mindset. I'm completely indestructible. I will make you believe whatever I want you to believe when I want you to believe it, and I'm good enough to have 5-star matches each and every time. 5-star segments each and every time. You can revolve an entire show around me or give me 1 minute. You better believe you're going to have moments that the fans will have for the rest of their lives." That's where I'm at today. Insisting that AEW president Tony Khan pays for television time, former WWE writer Vince Russo said on Busted Open Radio, any other show in television that did not increase their ratings over 4 years would be gone. They would be gone. I'm going to go back to my original theory. There's no question in my mind that Tony Khan is paying for TV time. The dude's a billionaire. He wants these shows on the network. He's going to the network and saying, what do you guys think you can make through advertising, etc.? Okay, no problem. I'll double it. There's no way they, Warner Brothers Discovery, are happy with the numbers AEW gets. mentioning that Shawn Michaels told him he was not ready for the main roster. NXT champion Carmelo Hayes told the Messenger, "He gave me a really good analogy. I don't want you to start building a roof when you haven't laid the groundwork yet. You're already trying to put in your windows and you haven't even finished doing your thing." That's where we're at now. I was like, yeah, let me continue to build brick by brick by brick. When I'm able to get to that point where it's time to put a roof on this thing, I'll go to the main roster and start building that roof. Michaels hears the people talking. He knows what the fans want. Every time I'm in a match, it's like if Melo loses, he's getting called up. He just wants to assure me, hey, make sure you're focusing on what's in front of you. Giving an update on her health after suffering an ACL tear back in May, Dakota Kai said on Twitch, "My recovery is going great. It's literally just doing leg day most days, not on the days I travel, but on the weekends, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so I permanently have leg DOMs. I started running last week, and I've only run a couple of times, but it's like in a weird machine that makes you lighter. They just want me to wear the knee brace ringside so I'm protected. I have to wear that when I start wrestling in January and February too." Everyone was like, stupid, like, oh my god, she's trying to throw us off by saying she's coming back in February. Like, guys, I literally don't know. Also, things can happen too if at that point, if I'm not as far along as they thought I was, they could add a few more weeks, or they can say that I'm good, you know what I mean? Regardless of what I say, you guys won't believe me anyway. In some positive news, Afa Anawai Jr., known as Manu in WWE, has been discharged from the hospital after suffering from cardiac issues. According to PW Insider, the statement was released on his behalf. From the mother of Afa Jr., we would like to give you all an update on Afa's cardiac condition. First off, we would like to say thank you for the continued prayers, love, and support we are receiving for Afa at this most difficult time. Afa has a team of cardiologists working with him and now is the most critical part of his recovery. He will be watched closely by his physicians and continue with extensive testing, procedures, and medication. Afa was discharged home under strict guidelines due to his ejection fraction of 35%. Afa's father is by his side for an indefinite period of time. Afa needs to rest without any stress and strenuous activities. He can only do some dishes, laundry, and minimal stairs until further notice. His cardiologists believe with him, following their strict instructions, his rehabilitation recovery will be a success, and he should return to the ring once he reaches 60%. For everyone that knows and loves Afa, this will be the most difficult road to rehabilitation and recovery for him, since we all know he is always hands-on and cannot sit still watching others. Wrestlers are considered independent contractors and are not eligible for the benefits we receive, so we ask for respect and privacy at this time, and please understand negative comments regarding this situation and his family is very difficult for his children, family, and all of us that love him in this most difficult time of need. Thank you for your continued prayers and support with this ongoing unexpected situation. With love, Afa's mom. After having been thought to have not paid those that have worked for his promotion, One Pro Wrestling founder Stephen Gauntlet said this in a statement to Talent. "It has been rumored on this app that people are owed money by 1PW. To clarify, one wrestler is on a payment plan and every other wrestler, crew member, and staff member has been paid for their work with us. Any other inference is entirely untrue and a complete lie. 1PW's relaunch was with 2 promoters and now is with 1. Any wrestlers wishing to work for our former co-promoter and not us, we wish well and hope they flourish in those surroundings. Thanks, Stephen Gauntlet." Announcer Joe Dombrowski said this about the statement and accused Gauntlet of fraud, where he provided a lot of evidence in the form of messages and other screenshots. If anybody isn't aware, this post by Stephen Gauntlet a few weeks back on the 1PW account was and is blatantly false. I speak for myself and several others. I hate putting my business out there, but feel I have no choice. Here's a thread of what I learned this week about Stephen Gauntlet. Stephen Gauntlet had a secret bank account he used to embezzle 1PW income without his business partners knowing. From the time it was meant to be closed, April and onward, over £5,000 were transferred from there directly to his personal bank account. 1PW never saw it come in. Please help spread the word to any fans or staff or talent you may know that aren't aware. There is literally no one running this company according to the UK government. If anyone anyone is still owed money and needs contact information to attempt to get it from the source, please contact me. Stephen Gottlieb misrepresented the company's value by claiming things he or the company didn't even own, such as camera equipment and the ring, all of which are rented as assets. In other words, fraud. This arrangement didn't last, but he had another plan to raise funds. Stephen Gottlieb kept booking and announcing talent for October and December in spite of multiple talent still needing paid for June and some even earlier. He claimed to me none required deposits for October, but turns out he was offering several. When I confronted him on this, the story changed. Stephen Gottlieb continued to offer cheap, vapid excuses to stall for time, day after day, everything from figuring out PayPal to vacation to Bulgaria. Finally, he told me he was leaving 1PW, not because of fraud, embezzlement, or debt, but because he fell down the stairs. Ultimately, once Stephen Gottlieb realized how close to all of this information I was, he did what he knows to do. He ran. I was able to join a growing list of friend and associates who can now see this view anytime they want. Ringside News added that the 1PW social media account is no longer active and ticket sales for the October 28th event have been temporarily halted by the venue. A spokesperson from the venue stated, "We are investigating the issues raised concerning the 1PW event, so we have decided to suspend ticket sales for the time being. We will provide an update to customers once we have more information." And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.